Hola, Sava. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you find yourself today. And welcome to the Catalyst African Town Hall. And you're all welcome. We appreciate you. We appreciate the time that you are spending with us over here and the wonderful work that you are doing in your community individually to promote Cardano and to increase the adoption of Cardano in your various countries. We really appreciate you. My name is Daniel, Programs Manager for the Catalyst African Town Hall. We have the mission and the vision to expand Cardano because we believe in the vision of Cardano, right? And then we believe also in the vision of the Cardano Foundation. So for that reason, we are doing everything possible to champion this initiative. We are also working very hard to bring the summit to Africa this year. And we have a news on that, but not today. We're not going to broadcast the news today. But on our next meeting, you're going to hear a very good news on that. We are doing this together with WADA Global and Remostat as well. So welcome you all. Today we have the CEO of Remostat. He's also a part of the Catalyst African Town Hall team, and he's here to tell us about the current affairs, what is going on in the Cardano ecosystem, because we need to address ourselves, understand what is going on, and then also make informed decision, and then embrace the new changes that are coming. You see, so as an Africans, we're not left behind. We are still on the governance constitution, but today we are going to focus more on the new budget processes and where it has been so far, right? So, Obio, if you are there, you can introduce yourself, or if you're not ready, we can let like the attendees, maybe you can unmute yourself individually and then tell us where you're joining us from. We want to hear from you. Mention your name and then where you're joining us from. We would like to go first.
Yeah, I'm actually ready. It's just that I thought maybe you were going to do the normal welcome to Africa town hall.
Oh.
Um, so I decided to take a break and probably just get water and just
Oh, okay. So today the welcoming is not coming along with the presentation slides like we do always. But hey, things may break. We want to like documentation or disorient, but don't run away. Stay with us, right? It's going to be very short meeting, right? Very, very short meeting, like we do it always. And it's going to be very informative as well. So stay with us because Obi have a lot in the package. Obi, you can go and get your water and can whilst we do check-in. Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Um, so Rich Musaba, if you can talk, like just say hello to us. Rich Musaba, where are you joining us from?
Hello, hello. Sorry, I'm at work, so I couldn't unmute. There's a patient in front of me.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Hello,
That's fine.
everyone.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll definitely call Laurent. Laurentine is doing so well in is it Burkina Faso and Togo? She's promoting Cardano very well, and recently she's also part of the committees that want to unify the Cardano community in Africa. Laurentine, do you want to say hello to us?
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here today again.
Yeah, is that something new you're working on in Burkina Faso in terms of Cardano related activity?
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, there's something we are actually working on because we realize that all the discussions within the Cardano community, even as we are seeing at the level of intersect, everything is being done in English.
mm,
So it means our communities, the French-speaking communities, are left out. So
mm.
we're organizing weekly meetings to give them updates on what is going on. So tomorrow we are having a meeting as well. So every Saturday we have a meeting, an online on Zoom meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So the African Town Hall have a lot of francophones in our Telegram group, right? So I think you can also use that platform to promote your event, right? Send your posters there, invite the francophones in that group to join your French meetups. I think it will be very beneficial and it will also increase your participants. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good idea. I will do that. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. So we have Boaz here. Boaz is in DRC. He's our French francophone community managers for us. Last year, he was able to host numerous town halls for us over there. Boaz, we salute you so much. You did so well by bringing us a lot of francophone community. And this year too, we are still hoping to do some projects with you, right? But we want to start with what was on our milestones first. After finishing what on the milestone, then we come back to any other ways or any other method that we can do to expand the African Town Hall. So we really appreciate the works that all of you are doing. We also have Edit. Edit, I recently discovered that you are doing some research, Cardano related research. Do you want to say a bit about it? What's our resource person gather his um stuff? Or maybe share the link of your research
Yeah,
to the group.
yeah. Hi everyone. It's really nice to be here. So yeah, we were funded in Fund 11 for researching zero knowledge proofs in blockchain ecosystems for enhanced voting transparency in the catalyst voting process. And as you can see, that during Fund 13, there was a lot of tension with regards to the voting, with some people saying that the catalyst voting system is a little bit plutocratic, and then people were calling for more of a democratic kind of voting system. So I've been doing a research on ZPs on how this can be a potential application for use in Cardano going forward.
Mm,
We made use of a local approach where we're able to show proofs that ZKP can be used, in the voting process to enhance transparency. And also we kind of address potential challenges to the application, trust,
mm,
fairness, and voting and of the voting system. And also we thought about things like voter participation. And we came up with different methodologies. One of them was the process methodology for
mm.
voting. There's quite a lot anyways about
Yeah.
this. It's something that we can actually, explore for Fund 14 or Fund
Mm,
15 going forward.
mm,
I wanted to
But
suggest, is it
just
possible that he can come to the town hall I think they are done with their research, they are just packing up this thing to add up. So maybe one of these days you can come to the town hall and present your research, what you found, what we should be expecting, I don't know, maybe that could be
mm.
a very nice way to go.
Yes, that's a good
yeah,
suggestion. That's a
it
good
sounds great.
suggestion.
But just a quick one. We have a survey questionnaire we have been sending
Mm,
across board on various social media platforms where Cardano community members are. So I will drop that here, and I will encourage everyone to please click on that survey, because I believe that the future of the voting system in Cardano is in our hands. We are the community. We have the final say concerning voting. So I'll put that here. Thank you.
yeah, okay. Eddie, thank you very much for the update. I'll also encourage you to liaise with Laurentine, so that you can see how you can translate into French and then also get bigger exploration, right? Instead of focusing on only the Anglophone speakers, right? So, Laurentine, there's one collaborator partner for you. Thank you very much. So, Professor Obio,
Yeah,
what do you have for us today, please?
all right, thank you. Today I think we'll be discussing Cardano budgets and current affairs in the Cardano ecosystem. And so we will be looking at what's going on in the Cardano budgets, giving us information on how it affects us, and yeah, looking up to it. So yeah, let's delve deep into it. Um, next, this stuff is not answering me. 1 minute. Oh, why is this messing up? Okay,
To
maybe
share your
let's.
screen. Do you want to expand it?
You said?
Do you want to expand it?
Yeah, I want to click next. No, okay, yeah. I
Okay.
was clicking the same thing. It wasn't answering me.
Uh,
Okay, yeah. So approach one, I love to call it the approach one. I call it the intersect text all. So what was this about? So when the Cardano budget, so maybe for us to understand this conversation, I would want to love to explain it to someone who has just basic knowledge of what's going on in the Cardano ecosystem with respect to budgeting, and I'll be explaining it from bottom up, right? So hopefully the person gets a better perspective of what's going on in the ecosystem. Now, when it comes to the budget, first you have to understand how budgets have been working prior to the new model that was proposed. So up till when we had the whole plumbing had fork, where we had the prior to the Volta era, right? Last week we discussed what the Volta era was and how it related to you and I. So prior to Volta era, the Cardano budget, the Cardano has what we call Cardano Treasury. And Cardano Treasury is actually derived from two things. One is derived from the fees from our transactions. Two, by 20% of stake pool operators or whatever is being generated in new stake, 20% of that actually goes to the treasury. And obviously, maybe lost fees and all those other ones still goes back to the treasury. So this is how Cardano actually makes money. Now, as an ecosystem, when we make this money, what do we do? The next thing is to use the same money to fund the underlying infrastructures and technology that makes Cardano work. As such, Cardano has a lot of money because for every time that stake pool operators are making money, 20% of that, or making ADA, quote unquote, 20% of that goes to the treasury. The treasury is believed to be the commonwealth of the people of ADA, the people who own ADA, right? So all of us who actually have ADA, this is the commonwealth of that we actually use from. So this money goes into technical infrastructures, into marketing, into projects, different stuff. For example, in the past 2 years, Catalyst has gotten about 150 million or more from the treasury yearly. Last year, for example, we had 3 Catalyst rounds, with each of them being staked at about 50 million ADA. So that means that Catalyst alone was withdrawing about 150 million or more ADA from the treasury. Right now, before now, Catalyst used to be the only community approach to getting funds. Now, I said community approach because obviously the guys with the Genesis key and all of that already had access to the initial treasury, which they used to build, the Emogo and all those guys already had, which they used to build whatever they're doing. But prior now, Catalyst used to be the only access that the community had into touching the pulse of the community, or touching the pulse of the people. Now, so we all know and how Catalyst is. All of us, we have to bid our projects, put in our proposals, and decide and vie for getting ADA to execute different projects for the community. However, this was only feasible because this was the pre-Voltaire era. In the post-Voltaire era, power belongs to the people now. And we now have a new guys in the set. We have new, how do we say it? We have a new sheriff in the town. And the new sheriff in the towns are the DREPs, the constitutional councils, and the SPOs, of course. These guys, and then you. These are the guys that are responsible for the keys in the Volta era, and they are the ones to actually decide what gets funded and what does not. So this is going to be the first experiment at budgeting on a community level. Having understood that, I want us to also understand why it is very possible that this approach is not perfect on the first go. So approach one, now all of this conversation was to give us why we have two different approaches to trying to create a budget. And that it is because this is the first time we are actually doing it we are all learning about Voltaire on the go. We are all new in the process, and we are all learning from the process together. And so there is no king, there is no expert in this field, and we are all going to make the mistakes together. So the approach one was intersect dutifully. So most people criticize them for this step, but I think they did the right thing, because without making this approach, without taking a step forward, we couldn't have seen the issues that needs to be solved, and then there couldn't have been feedback and repercussions that led to approach two. So approach one was intersect requesting about 350 million thereabout of ADA, and then intersect also being the one to decide what we are going to use this 350 million to do. So out of that money that was requested, only 50 million was left for community to directly make request through DREPs for it to be voted, so that these things can be done. So 350 million was actually what was requested, but only 50 million was kept for direct engagement with by the community. And with about 107 million going to technical, this thing being the largest allocation that was done by Intersect. Now, this is how I'm going to explain it. Intersect was not necessarily saying that they want to execute everything. Now, that's wrong. What Intersect was doing was to create different buckets, right, that money can be allocated to, and then people or community can now independently vie for these things, right? Community can independently now vote for these allocations instead of just keeping it vague. So they were creating different buckets. And these buckets included the Cardano Civic Committee bucket, Cardano Marketing Committee, membership, open source, technical, product, and catalyst. So let me explain it this way. What they were doing was to put in different things. So for example, by putting it in 7 different buckets, what they were now doing was putting different requests into these 7 buckets. So let's say Catalyst, for example, will belong to one of the buckets. Let's say, for example, we need to do an event in Africa, like the event that the Cardano Summit. Let's assume Cardano Summit in Africa. It will now come under the Cardano Marketing Committee, right? So we would now need to request that money from the committee. It has so all of the things we bucket inside one place, and then made it to one. So just for sake of data, Cardano Civics requested 13 million of the allocated 13 million ADA to them. Cardano Marketing Committee 18 million, membership about 85 million, open source committee about 3.1 million or thereabout, technical committee 107 million, product 40 million, and Catalyst had and then in the share, Catalyst had in all of this was about 83 million or thereabout, right? So, like I said, it was not that they were allocating 13 million to just Cardano Civics. No, they were giving Cardano Civics 13 million, which will now, 13 million will now, as a bucket, then individual projects and everything will now sum into that 13 million, not necessarily that 13 million was allocated to Cardano Civics Committee. No, the Cardano Civics Committee was going to be all the projects that they need to do that, they will now be the one to oversee, but all the things that, all the projects that are related to that will now go into that bucket. So it was a compartmented approach to funding. Just for the information again, the money was to be held by a CDM, by a company, a non-profit called CDH, which is based in the Cayman Island. They were the ones to hold the fund according to the approach that the that Intersect actually did. But this came and was met with a lot of objections, right? People felt it was extremely centralized, right? So there were objections about decentralization, why is just Intersect being the one? So if you check here, you could see the proportion 350 million and only 50 million. That's about 80% or more than 80% of the money is going to Intersect alone, and less than 15% of that, or to 18% going to the community. That reeked, or that spoke about a lot about centralization. So Intersect was becoming too powerful according to this particular structure, right? And it wasn't good for decentralization. Charles Hawkinson was one of the biggest opposition, or vocal opposition to this approach, because he felt it was not in line with the vision of Voltaire that he actually had. So yeah, that was one of the things he was speaking against, because in Voltaire era he wanted to give the power to the people. So he felt that this was not giving power to the people. People also felt that the spending was too much. Some of the money that was being spent on certain things were not necessary. Some people criticized, for example, the amount of money that was budgeted for Catalyst, for technical development, for marketing. There were a lot of criticism about that. And then people felt that committees had too much power over tender. Due to these criticisms, right? Due to these criticisms, the Intersect committee had to go back and reshare and re-strategize. They were feedback, they did surveys, listened to the community, right? And one of the things that they needed to do was to strengthen and respect the DREP's authority in the unchanged governance principle. DREPs had to come in. That's what the committee was saying. It was also needed that they ensure a more direct community role in budget approval. So community need to be directly involved, not kept in the sidetrack, as was the principle in approach 1. They also needed to streamline the process to make participation more accessible and effective. So if anybody wants to propose, it shouldn't be a lot of bottlenecks for such a person. Anybody who wants to propose should be able to propose. Also, to continue building on the work that members have contributed to the draft and all of those. This and then, yeah, lastly, was to leverage Cardano technology, which was in the constitution. If you remember, there was a need to include smart contracts as a means of distribution and oversight to set a strong precedent for transparent governance, right? So these were all the things that they considered in the next one, right? So the new approach, called the restructured approach, community and DREP. So we've already seen all the stuff that they said. So here in this one, community involvement is direct. You and I, whether you are irrespective of who you are, whether you're in Africa, wherever you are, you can directly put in proposals for community engaged, like that, whatever proposal you have in mind. DREPs, right, are directly represented. So now there's a lot of conversations with DREPs, because DREPs are going to ultimately be the one to vote it in, and they also have the part in the representation and the conversation as well. So there's a need to actually consult them. They directly consulted them, and then what Intersect did is Intersect has rather been pushed to oversight and guardianship role. So that's now their role, instead of being the guys that are directly in charge of this particular process. Okay, so how can you and I be part of it? So like I've already established a strong precedence that you don't need anybody, irrespective of who you are, you can actually propose your budget to the Cardano budget, for the Cardano budget. If you think you have an idea, you have something that needs to get into Cardano budgets, you don't need to wait for anybody. You can now directly propose those things now. And how can you do that? So deadline is 31st of March to do that. I've actually heard people say that that's a soft deadline, that it's probably going to mush up to April. I wouldn't want you to take that risk. I would advise, if you're actually thinking of applying, then this should be probably the best time to apply. You have till 31st of March to actually do so. And then the second thing is, it shouldn't have been, whatever idea you have shouldn't have been previously funded on Catalyst. So this is not a double spend thing where, you know, people usually do in some ecosystems. They'll put more a proposal here and put it here. Any proposal that has already been funded by Catalyst will not be funded here, because again, even Catalyst itself is proposing, right, to get money from there. And so if you're also proposing to get money from the treasury, then that proposal must not already been funded on Catalyst. You might have applied to Catalyst and it didn't pass. That's fine, but it shouldn't have already been previously funded on Catalyst. Now, how to do that? Maybe I'll just give some instruction. I'm going to share the link on where to go submit. In case you're interested, you have a proposal you want to submit for the budgeting. I'm going to share the link that we are going to do that. But yeah, come up with your title, the title of your proposal, if you've actually got one. Make sure that you are willing to, you have a lead proposer who is going to be the one in charge. It can be an organization, it can be a person. But the person would be responsible for being in contact with the Catalyst, with the Cardano budgeting team. Put your proposal methodologically, and make sure that you are able to convey what you want. And then after you've done that, you submit. And then, yeah, you can also, and then engage the D-reps, because the D-reps ultimately have the power to vote in whichever proposal would pass or not. So engage D-reps and let them understand the essence of what your product or your idea or your proposal is, and why it needs to be funded through the community as well. So yeah, guys, this is just a quick update on the budgeting process, what has been happening so far. The conversations are ongoing as well. If you want to, you can join. There are a lot of ongoing conversations on where you can get to give your opinion or see what other people are proposing and all of that. Yeah. So you can join in of these conversations online, on Twitter, on Discord, and join to ensure that your voice is heard. So the summary I would say is that now we are in the era of Voltaire. The power is returned to the people, and even the budget and the treasury as well. The purse was not with us before now, but they returned the purse to us, and it's our duty to use from the purse to achieve for the general good of Cardano. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do to change the face of Cardano? That is what all the budgeting process is about, and we should all take action to use it for the general good of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Obio. I really enjoy your presentation, and I'm sure there are a lot of questions, a lot of things that people want to ask, and a lot of contribution that people want to also add to what you have said. So at this moment, we'll give the platform to our Africa community members. Please kindly unmute yourself. If there's something you want to ask Obio or ask all of us, you can do that, or something that baffles someone that you want clarification on, please kindly do that. Seems like there's no question.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
okay.
a quick one. Thank you so much, Ubi, for the presentation. We have really gotten a lot of information that we will use going forward. And I believe that we in Africa need to seize or make use of this opportunity. Just you said something in your presentation about sending us a link so that we can actually go through it. So I don't know if you could do that so that we can actually, synthesize and get more information about what we need to do going forward. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just to say, first one, I would link to, I will share the first link called the roadmap product committee roadmap. Try to align while it's open, you can actually put in whatever you want. It would be nice to align your proposal with the product committee stuff so that you can actually so you know that you're going to definitely get people to vote in and you're going to get a lot of buy-in. So yeah, check this out. I'm sharing this first. This is the first link. It will lead you to where you can get the roadmap while I try to get the link for where you can submit. Okay.
Okay, I think I have some link here. Let me see if that is it, Obio. Let me assist you.
Okay.
Okay. So I've sent it here. You can check in the chat if that is it. Cardano proposal submission intercept.
All right.
I don't know if that is it.
Okay. Yes, I think this is it. Yeah.
Okay. So
This
Obi,
should
I
be
want
the
to
one.
ask you some quick question, right? Now that the budget, right, the big budget have not been passed, and there are a lot of projects that is depending on this budget, including the Cardano Summit, including Project Catalyst. If this doesn't pass on time, do you think it's going to have some effect on the ecosystem? Is it going to halt operations?
Um, I personally don't think so.
Mm,
Though a lot of people think otherwise.
okay,
I think we are getting we need to get rhythm and we need to
okay,
get it right. So it's up to March now. By next month, April, people are saying the committee does not have any the Cardano treasury, no money has been released. How this is affecting a lot of projects, and I'm like, yeah, we need to pause in order for us to run. So because what we're going to do here is going to determine the rhythm between what we're going to be doing and future scope. Don't forget that that is why during the Cardano Constitution, if there was a place I really dragged, it was with the issue of the epochs, right? So the budget is not necessarily about going to be yearly, but per epoch. So the budget covers from whenever we start till the next time. So if we start by June, then June till next year, June or thereabout, is going to be the approximate epoch of our budget. So that means that whenever we start by June, we are not going to say, okay, by December, right, let's wrap up, and then in January we go into another of this kind of process. So it brings rhythm to whatever we are going to do, and as such, it's good for us to do it well. So I'm not against it. Whatever necessary short-term inconveniences this will bring for the long-term goal of the community, I think I'm totally in support of that.
okay, 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 okay. Is there anyone in the room that want to add something to our current discussion or ask a question for clarification? I think after listening to OBO, all your questions, all your doubts get answered, right? Before you even finish the presentation, because it's always covers everything because he has been with the community for a very long time, so he understands um what we actually need. So if there's no question, right, then I think your message is well delivered, Obio. I don't know if I'm rushing. Anyone have something to say or thinking about something? I don't want to
All
rush
right.
the meeting, yes, but we have to. Um,
Okay, so guys, I just want to encourage us to go out and propose. You know, there's always this subtle thing that, oh, it's not gonna pass. We're in Africa and all of that. But I think this is the best time to test the system now that it's totally new. Let's do, and like I said, try to align it with the roadmap. and if possible, form proper alliances to actually apply for this thing, come together to probably give it better weight. And again, so maybe Dan, maybe Kat should actually put up something, and
Yes.
then yeah, let's do that, and then because Kat, so maybe we can put up something on behalf of other people in this organization or that belong to
Mm.
Africa or something. Uh, we can put up a bucket that allows a lot of people to come in as well because yeah, at the end of it, I think your reputation in the community will also matter for the DREPs who will be
Mm.
voting. So I'm just saying on this is side burst. This is not what the law says. I'm just saying on a side, I think most times your community reputation could be relevant in this kind of stuff. And I think CAT has a very good reputation, and it would be awesome if we can also put out something as well. So, but again, guys, even as individuals, please put up something, organizations, put up, let's test the system and see that the system works.
Sure, sure. We really appreciate your encouragement, and we will put something in place. The fact that even before we start we start this meeting, you listen to Laurentine, and then one of the things he said, he identified a problem and he's solving it, right? But if you want to solve it in a very large scale, do a lot of translations into French, I think we can also seek for some funding here to support such initiatives in the African community. So I really appreciate sharing all these opportunities out there with us. The recordings of this meeting will be available latest by Monday. We will share it on all our social media. If you are not on our Telegram, I'm about to share the link with you right now. Kindly join our Telegram group or invite your community members. Invite your community members to also join the Catalyst African Town Hall. We have about 250 members so far in the group. Uh, yes, Laurentine, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, what I want to say is that instead of thinking about translation, the problem I'm raising is actually the fact that we don't have a strong French community with discussions like this. That's what we
Okay.
just started. Yeah. So instead of thinking about translating, people want to engage in their own language. We have a lot of people who joined our last week, for instance, we had 36 people who showed up. And these people, if we invite them here, they will not be comfortable because we don't provide interpretation. And providing simultaneous interpretation for such meetings, you have to hire professional interpreters. It takes a lot of money. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is that instead of thinking about just translating documents to give them or translating meetings, summaries of meetings to give them, why not create a platform where real discussions can also be held in French so that they can
Yeah.
feel included in the whole process?
Okay, yeah, Laurentine, what about we do so would you think like doing cat French community would be a good idea?
Yeah, why not? It can be a good idea.
Okay, so we will be running like two town halls. Like we have cat French, we now have cat English, something like that.
Yeah, because I was today I was in a working group and we're discussing the same thing. It's actually the group of delegates, the future work stream. We had a meeting today and I was sharing the same thing. And what they proposed was that instead of having one meeting in English and then translating, they are trying to put in a proposal to be able to at least identify 2 or 3 languages and allow the people to run discussions and rather bring summaries in English for the rest of the community to know what is going on. So I think if this thing was done long ago, would have grown a lot because here alone in Burkina Faso, I have a lot of people in Goma. There's a lot of people in Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire, there's a lot of things going on in Cote d'Ivoire. I have a friend I've been working with. He's on serious projects based on Cardano, but nobody knows about him in the community. So we've been trying to gather all these people. Tomorrow will be our field meeting since we started. We got a chance to present at the Intersect Town Hall, but unfortunately, I don't know, they stopped it. They said they want to give it to the community. So I don't know if we have other. We are in Africa. We have French. French is, if you look at it, well, French is dominant in Africa here. So this is a part of, a group of people that we should not neglect. But giving them just translations of meetings is not enough.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. Laurentine, I think your submission is well taken. It's a very good point. Africa is not only about English. We have French. So we started, right? We started with the French translation, but we noticed that it's also delaying our closing time, and the interest also reduced, right? Before Boaz was helping us. But I think what we can do is to take one of our town halls, because in a month we have two town halls, right? So we have the first week and then the last week in a month. We can turn one of them into a French, whereby like it will be only French. So what we discuss here today in English, the same thing will be discussed in French. The next day with the same resources, or maybe something similar to that, so that we make sure that all the messages are being passed across equally, and the level of the knowledge gap is being closed to promote the Cardano mission in Africa. So Laurentine, your submission is well noted. We get in touch with you soon to see how we can work together on this proposal submission. The deadline is 31st, right, Obio?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 10 days to do that. Okay. Merci beaucoup, Laurentine.
De rien, merci.
Obvious surprise that I speak French. So let me give you some funny thing about Ghana, right? Ghana is being surrounded by francophone countries.
Same with Nigeria.
Same with Nigeria, but the Ghana itself doesn't speak French,
Same
and
with
it's
us.
so crazy. From the top, we have Burkina Faso speaking French. East, we have Togo. West, we have Ivory Coast. They also
Same
speaking
with
French.
Nigeria. Nigeria, I think it's
With
west
Cameroon.
west is Benin Republic. We have Benin Republic. We have Cameroon. We have okay, by the south where I'm from, we've crossed over, you go to the Spanish. That's
Okay.
these guys, Equatorial Guinea.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I don't know what they speak in Chad. Chad is not. Niger
They speak
also
French. In Chad, they speak French.
Niger. So we have Niger as our this thing, and then we also have Chad, and all of that is French. So we are all bordered by French countries.
I see. So we see how we can work around it. Our next meeting, our next Catalyst Africa meeting is on 4th of April, right? Luckily, that one will be in English, and then we'll see if the next one we can it in French, and then also get connected with the French
Community.
speakers. Yes, the French community. So we'll liaise with Laurentine and Boaz, our community manager in DRC, and see how we can push this. Boaz, ça va? Comprehend?
In the life you want to live, to walk you through,
The network is
Allô, vous
just.
m'écoutez? Allô?
Yeah, tu parles anglais, Boaz.
Oh, oui, pardon?
Yeah, so we are saying that we want to push what Laurentine said. So next week, our next meeting is on 4th April, which will be in English, and we will see if we can advertise, or maybe do like a month of advertisement, right? 1 month of advertisement on all our social media, inviting the francophones to join our next
Okay.
meeting. Probably it shouldn't be in April because we should use April to do from now to April to do the advertisement that we are starting in French. Then April, May. So May, then we run that one out. So let's take this offline and see how we can work, have a good structure to run this.
Yes, we'll spread the word with and my
Okay,
community be
okay.
involved.
Hmm. So on that note, we are bringing our Catalyst African Town Hall to an end. We really appreciate all of you for showing up today. Our next meeting, like I said earlier on, is 4th April. Please do spread the news and let's promote Africa. Let's be there, right? Let's be there, let's get information and let's take part in everything that is going on in the community, right? The community is too big for one person to carry, right? All of us collectively we can push the agenda forward. So I really appreciate all of you. And if any of you have any contribution, how we can do this and promote this thing very well, the Catalyst Quantaho and the mission and the vision in Africa, we really appreciate that. There's a big movement going on in Nigeria, the Nigerian Student Association, students something something. I think their president is here, Musa. We see you. We appreciate everything that you are doing. Very soon we'll bring you on board to also come and tell us account on what's going on in the community and how we can also support your agenda and push it forward. So we appreciate you. We'll stop recording and then see you soon. Bye.
All right.